Yo, what's good, gamers? What's good? My name is Dr. Ryan Terao, PsychSensei, and happy Thursday, and welcome to the clinic. And today, we'll be presenting the quote-unquote anxiety clinic, where we'll be talking about all things anxiety, from ranked anxiety to performance anxiety to worrying and nervousness, pre-game jitters, whatever. We're following the bouncing ball. But if you want to make sure that your questions are answered, please make sure you put them down in the chat. And I also, if you're interested, I fixed a lot of the commands there. So if you put command social, that's a new one. If you want smaller commands like Twitter, Discord, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, it's all there, and I just fixed it. So you can check out those commands if you want to have fun with them, but they're fixed. And also, if you want to learn more about me, learn more about what I do, and some other resources that I might have for you, please visit my website, PsychSensei.com, which is actually another command. If you're interested in that command too, you can check it out by command exclamation point website. But I'm super stoked to be here today to talk a little bit about anxiety or worry, or I'm putting them in quotations because I'm not talking about clinically diagnosable anxiety, quote unquote. Instead, no quote unquote with the clinical diagnosis anxiety, period, full stop. Today we'll be talking about anxiety, quote unquote, air quotes, about whatever you define as anxiety or experiences an anxiety. I'm not here, although I'm a clinical psychologist, I'm not here to diagnose you or tell you that you have anxiety or not. I'm here to talk about how maybe nervousness or worries or future-oriented thinking, all those things, how they can negatively impact your games or affect your performance or distract you in-game, and that's why I'm putting some quotations around it. I am not talking about any clinical diagnosis, but the word anxiety, I feel like, has been thrown around so much that it's almost been normalized. People say like, oh, I'm so anxious about this thing, but are you clinically anxious about this thing, or are you just worried about your performance? So again, let's separate clinically diagnosable anxiety symptoms and the presentation of worry or how people may experience their nerves. Let's say that. I'm going to try to get away from clinical terms because don't sue me. And and if you would like to hang out with yours truly, you can jump into the Discord right now, or jump into my Discord right now and join me in the FOMO Dojo, where you could be an actual participant on the show live to ask your questions live. I can invite you to the stage. We can have a small little conversation if you would like. That option is open in my Discord that you can join. And if it doesn't pop up soon, it's command Discord and it'll give you an invite there. Also, it's another cool opportunity to listen to this if you're in your car or you can't watch this live. You can also go to my Twitter at the PsychSensei, and you can listen to this discussion, talk, whatever, on top of the Twitter Spaces. So you can catch me in multiple different areas, in multiple different ways, if you're interested. But yeah, so, you know, I would really love for this to be a conversation instead of just me talking to myself. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about some anxieties or worries or nervousness or whatever that comes up for you, please put them down in the chat and we can chat about it for sure. And hopefully I can provide you with maybe some tips and tricks to help you. But enough of that. Let's just jump into it, shall we? Maybe we can put some things on this mind map we got here, and we can talk about it a little bit more. Again, anxiety in quotations. We're not talking about clinically diagnosable anxiety. That is for a different doctor and a different show in your state. Today, we'll be talking about game-related anxieties that may occur and how to deal with them, or what the experience is like, or, you know, how it may affect you, or what is it like in your brain. We'll see. We're covering it all. Okay, so when I think about anxiety in games, and when I think about worries or nervousness or whatever, it can kind of pop up in a couple of different areas that are common that I've noticed. But yeah, how has it come up for you? The first thing... Okay, the first area... Let's just talk about areas for now. So the first area that I think that anxiety comes from could be performance. This is like the biggest one, right? So we can separate this into like ranked anxiety. That's a huge one. Ranked anxiety, if you're a solo queue warrior, you play by yourself, like most often players experience this either like when they're going to promote, when they're going to demote, when they're trying to climb and get points or try to increase their rank. Like this is where mostly the anxiety comes from. The worry about losing points, worried about the what ifs, the shoulds, the oh no's, all those things that get in the way of, or even just queuing for ranked and that experience. So people may be flaming me or teammates may be mean to me or whatever. And so when I think about, you know, the worry or whatever, I'm thinking it's around the ranked performance piece. But maybe we're even going too far. Maybe we're even going too far. And maybe we should even start with saying like how the experience of anxiety feels or how it affects us. So maybe we can start there. Whoa, Shining, way to be on time, baby. You are not late at all. You are here. You are present. You are the first chatter. Congratulations. Cheers to you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. And good morning. Woo! Rainbow, a close second. What's up, Rainbow? I'm multitasking. You on headphones, BF Boss's show on speakers, watching both trying XD. Bowen, oh my gosh, he's back. Bowen is back too. I was getting anxious about being late, but you're on time too. What's up, Bowen? I hope you're doing well. I was actually trying to catch that, some LCS games too. So there's some bangers. All right, so let's talk about. We can separate this physical. Let's separate this to cognitive, mental. Emotional, maybe? Maybe we can go there? Emotional? Let's try that. Let's try that. I typed it earlier, but I didn't want to send until I had the headphones on, lol. Phew, I'm much more relaxed. Good. This discussion, and the reason why I want to talk about it, and we did head on, is because typically when we think about worries or anxieties or things like that, the more we try to avoid them and the more we try to, like yesterday, put our fingers in our ear, go la 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 la, that's not a problem, the worse it gets. So instead, my goal is to present this information, have a discussion around it. So when you're having this experience for yourself, you're like, oh, I remember what we talked about with PsychSensei. Okay, this is not that bad. Or, oh, this is kind of close, but I know what to do. I've been here before. I'm going to be fine. And yes, my friends, you will be fine. Okay. So, I'm taking like the 3 areas where I think people get affected, the most common places people get affected with anxiety. I think there is a physical, somatic, maybe I'll put that there. So like of your body, so that physical experience of anxiety. Then you have like a cognitive mental piece to it, the thinking and the meaning making. And then you have the emotional components too that I think trigger some cognitive mental stuff, but we'll kind of maybe they run together, maybe they won't, we'll see. Maybe we'll smush them together as discussion goes on, whatever I feel like, but let's run through it right now, okay? So the term tilted seems to be a catch-all phrase for anxiety, anger, depression, sadness, being demoralized. Yeah, I think so. I think tilt or being tilted is definitely a catch-all phrase that just describes the experience. Describes the negative performance driven by a strong emotional response. So may that strong emotional response be strong anxiety or worry, maybe anger, upsetness, frustration, irritation, maybe like sadness, that the loss, depression, grief, demoralized, hopelessness, all of it, whatever that strong emotion may be, which leads to decreased performance, which is the tilt. So I think this is part of it, and it's like an angle to the tilt, and sometimes anxiety may be a precursor to the tilt, because I think, okay, Bowen, this is why I love you, my dude. This is why I love you. Please keep coming to the show. This is what I need. Okay, so let's go left real fast. Let's go left. This is what I fucking love. Okay, so. And this is so great. Like this, you know, I love that these shows like go full circle and they're all connected, right? Like that's the best part. Okay, let's talk about tilt over here. If you guys can see it or can't see it, let me know. Okay. So when I think about tilt and the way it relates to anxiety, I think sometimes anxiety is a precursor to tilt. And the reason I think anxiety is a precursor and sometimes a reason for tilt is because when you think about anxiety, oftentimes, and I'll connect this to, this is because, you know, you worry. Oh, and oftentimes it's with anxiety, if you want to think about, you know, if you want to think of like depression and anxiety on like a continuum, to very simply, like, just to simplify it, right? Just to put it in very simple terms, if you want to think about it, if anxiety is over here, think of like the future. Think of, oh my gosh, if I do this, then XYZ will happen. If I think about, you know, if I don't do this, then this is going to mean this for my life. Or if I don't win this game, then I'm going to derank. Or if I, you know, miss this shot, people are going to think I'm stupid or whatever, right? So we're thinking about the future with anxiety. Where depression, typically, you want to think about past. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that. Oh my god, I can't believe I made that mistake, or I'm so dumb, I wish I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Oh my gosh, and because of that, we're like sadder, or we have more remorse or regret for that thing in the past. That's depression. So if you want to think about, you know, past and future, think anxiety future, depression more in the past. Our goal is not to be in one of these two extremes, but our goal in life is to be somewhere in the middle, right? Somewhere in the middle where you're not thinking about the past, you're not thinking about the past, you're not thinking about the future, but you're here in this present moment, experiencing whatever is going on. And if you want to think about this in the same game terms, it relates very similarly, where if you are trying to play like optimal gaming, think of like 30 seconds to a minute in the future. Like that is how far, if you're going to use future-orientated thinking, in my opinion, you want to live. 30 seconds to a minute in the future, predicting, strategizing, thinking, using your tactics, that far ahead. But what happens sometimes is what happens when you think about the last round, that last mistake, the mess up you've made, the miscoms, or whatever. Now you're no longer being here in the future, in the present, or a minute to 30 seconds in the future. You are in the past. You are reliving a mistake or something that you can't go back and fix, and so you're kind of stuck there. And you just kind of ruminate about that mistake, but again, you're no longer thinking about the present or what to do now, because you're thinking about that thing, and that thing's acting like a weight, and it's holding you back. Now, on the other hand, think of when you have, this relates to anxiety too, when you think too far in the future about what this game might mean, what this mistake might mean, what this play might mean, and now you're thinking way far, an hour, 30 minutes, 20 minutes ahead in this future. Now, if you do this because, you know, you're worried about what it means or whatever, you are now creating a future that technically doesn't exist yet. It's not real, but you're thinking about how it could be real, or the things that you want to avoid, or the scariness of this terrifying future reality that doesn't exist, because we're not in this present. We have to make this present thing work to make the future happen. You know what I mean? So again, it's prime esports, staying here in the present, being experiential to about 30 seconds to a minute ahead. I think that's where you definitely want to try to live, and that's how you think about like the past future thing. Pouring Stilt is purely the anger type. Oh, because he's so nice IRL. I feel like nice people, they need like something to like bring that inner demon out, you know, and they gotta release that anger, that negative energy, and that's, you know, where he Games. But it's better than games than people. That's what I'm saying. It's better games than people. Yeah, but players will use tilt to describe their emotional state rather than their performance. Both anxiety and depression make people into ahistorical. There is no sense of time, but really the ever-present pain of the present. Ooh, that is deep, Bowen, and that's reminding me of like my angsty childhood emo days. Oh my god, no one understands what it's like to be a kid, man. That was it. There's actually a song that starts like that. Do you ever feel like breaking down? Do you ever feel like da 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 da? You know that song? That's what that reminds me of. Absolutely. I think when I work with players too and they use tilt or these blanket statements, right? What I try to do, and I think if you do this to yourself too, like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm so tilted, and use this blanket statement, or you know, whatever you're feeling, it's a doomer. This is done. I suck, or whatever. I think when you like use these blanket statements, or what I try to do with players when they describe their experience very broadly, what I try to do is like, okay, what do you mean? Like, define tilt for me. Like, when you say tilt, like, how do you experience it? How does it, welcome to my life, that's it. Like, how do you experience tilt? You know, what makes you tilted? How is this affecting you? Like, all those kinds of things. So if I can label it, then we can be more specific about when the tilt happens, how it affects them, and all these kinds of things. So we can separate the emotional experience from the performance, or how the emotional experience affected their performance versus just tilt. But back when I trialed for academy team, I was always think, quote, oh shoot, I should perform best. I will not make a mistake. I'm gonna be the best carry, join this team. But I got nervous, a little bit anxiety, and then performed bad. You know what I've noticed in that statement there, Shinings? The word should. I should perform my best. You can turn your shoulds into I'm going to do my best. You know, I'm going to put my best foot forward. I will not make a mistake. You know, maybe we change that statement to I'm going to play my best. You know, or I'm going to attempt to not make a mistake. I'm going to play as flawlessly as I can. I'm going to be the best carry and join the team. I'm going to be the best carry I can today. I'm going to be the best version of myself. I'm going to try to do my best in general. I think when we use these types of absolute statements, they may get in your way, or especially when you use those shoulds, because sometimes then you should all over yourself and like, oh, I should be doing these things. Why aren't I? And then it turns into this giant guilt and shame exercise, or, you know, you gas yourself up, GAS, guilt and shame, and it's not very productive. And then you focus on the wrong things. And I guess that's the next point. Anxiety, don't worry, we're going to touch on all of these. I'm just bouncing and following the ball and letting my fantastical brain do its thing. And so the thing about anxiety that's really seductive, that's really it's not tempting, it's not the word. Seductive is definitely the word, where it's like, you know, like a siren's call is like seductive, or if you hear it, like you can't help yourself from like paying attention to it. And I feel like anxiety or strong emotions in general are like one of those oh so sweet, like deceptive, distracting things. And what anxiety tends to do may be, you know, your physical symptoms of it, what it makes you think, you know, what it makes you feel, is that it draws your focus to that thing. It draws your focus to the worry. It draws your focus to, oh, we're going to get here, the doubt. It draws your focus to the oh no's, all the things that you're worried about. And so the thing with anxiety, especially, I feel like for most people, is that, ooh, it's so seductive. Ooh, it's so sexy that it's hard to get your focus away from it. But when we talk about anxiety, when we talk about nervousness, this is the thing that we're actually really talking about. We're talking about a focus. We're talking about attention. We're talking about what are you paying attention to? What are you emphasizing? What are you looking at? Where's your perspective? You know, that is what we're really talking about, because essentially what happens with anxiety is that when we become worried, we become fearful, we become doubtful, insecure. What's that? Uncertain. You know, when these things kind of creep in, all related to tilt, we focus on them. And because we're focusing on these things, guess what we're not focusing on? That's right. Just like Shining said, you're not focused on performing your best. You're not focusing on, you know, playing as flawlessly as you can. You're not focused on being the best carry. Instead, what you're thinking about are all these other things. And what these other things are doing are they're distracting your attention from focusing on the things that you want to be focusing on. Thus, I mean, how can you do those things to perform your best, perform flawlessly, give your best effort, if you're not thinking about it? And instead, you're thinking about all of these things. That's what we're talking about. It's definitely welcome to my life. Yeah, okay, that's the title. Absolutely, that's a banging song. Banging song. And so going back to tilt and anxiety, you know, why I think it's related and why it's so strongly related is because you don't just start off anxious or worried. That, like, you don't start here. It actually, like, you have to build up to it, in my opinion, with, like, smaller emotions, building onto bigger emotions, building into bigger emotions, being onto anxiety. Like, once you get here or tilted, these are very higher emotions than, like, worried. Worried is like little mini anxiety, or nervous is like mini anxiety, but anxiety is like, oh my god, 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 oh my god. That's what I imagine. And so also for you, I think it's important that when we talk about these terms, you can also define the levels to your game. And I think it's important that you understand or become aware of your ramp up of, if anxiety is like a 10, for example, or maybe tilt is a 10, and then anxiety is like an 8, for example. Like, what are 6, what's 4, what's 5, what's 3, what's 2, what's 1? And why I think this is really, really important to understand your levels or how you work yourself up to anxiety or tilt or whatever is it's important for you to know the signs. Know your triggers, right? We're like jumping all over the place, but don't worry. We'll fix it in post. We'll fix it in post. We'll fix it in post. Know your signs. Okay? So scale the levels of your anxiety. Because, for example, from here, the way that I think it starts off is you're uncertain first. I think it starts, like, anxiety in general is like, it starts with uncertainty. And then maybe it goes to, we can put worry here twice. Maybe we can put it here. Maybe anxiety is the end. I'm not sure, however you wanna say it, right? So I think, for example, you can start here with uncertainty. You don't know how it's going to be. And just because, for example, you don't know how it's going to be when you load into that ranked game. You don't know how it's going to be when you load into that next official match. You don't know how it's going to be playing on stage or whatever. And because there's just small certainty, okay, I'm not sure how it's going to end. I'm not sure how it's going to go. The next step after that is you start worrying. Oh no, I'm not. Or maybe you start doubting. Let's put it in that order. So maybe it starts with uncertainty. You're not sure. And so because you're not sure, you start doubting. Oh man, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if we can do this. I don't know if, I don't know if I'm feeling good. Oh my gosh, my hands are kind of cold, or maybe I have this weird feeling in my tummy, or I'm not sure because like my mind isn't really making good decisions, or my thoughts are moving slower, or I just feel kind of like, bad or whatever. And I'm thinking about all these things. And now that makes me doubt myself, or doubt what I can do, or doubt how it's going to go. And so because I'm doubting it, now I'm starting to get worried. Oh my gosh, now these nerves are creeping in. Now, like, I can't stop thinking about it, and it's going round and round and round in my head, and I don't know. And now that I don't know, now I'm working myself up. Boom. This is where the anxiety is. And now I'm really freaking out. Now I'm like, I'm pacing back and forth. In my head, I'm just running through different scenarios and it's not making any sense. And then boom, now I'm tilted. Because it's affecting my play. Because I'm not focused on the things I want to do. And instead, I'm worried about all the things that could happen. And so I think that's why it's important to understand and scale the levels of how the process in which you do this, define your terms, so you can stop yourself or catch yourself logically. You can think about, okay, here, side note, this is, if you're tilted here and you're uncertain, guess what people typically do when they're uncertain and they're tilted that gives them certainty, but not good results of the game? They'll grief, they'll troll, they'll int, because even though I'm not sure, because maybe I'm uncertain how the game will go, but if I grief, if I troll, if I int, I'm now giving certainty to how the game is going to end. I'm making certainty out of the outcome. You're new. What's up, baby? What's up, Uber? What's up, Uber? Welcome to the stream, baby. We're just talking about tilt. I mean, not tilt. We're talking about anxieties. And so if you want to talk about your anxiety or experiences, bring them on down, baby. So that's what I'm thinking. Isn't that funny, though, where we're so uncertain about how it's going to go, good or bad, that when we do get tilted or when we are saying, like, we're done, we create certainty through our actions. Okay, I'm going to grieve. And although it's not good for the outcome of the game, I'm creating certainty of, I know how the game is going to end. Not very well, spoiler alert. And then we run through this whole thing again. Because now, if I've trolled, now I might have more anxiety because it's bad. People are yelling at me. They're trolling me and they're saying that whatever. And now I'm creating a bad experience for myself. But now it's just becoming this like self-fulfilling like spiral we're gonna go down. First time chatting in the stream. Yeah, no need to lurk. No need to lurk. We don't bite here in the chats. We come here to support each other, laugh with each other, and learn some shit about ourselves. That's all. But welcome. Thank you for welcoming and shining. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Thank you. Okay. So I think that's really funny, though, that we create certainty to fix the anxiety, but the thing that we want isn't good, and then that creates more anxiety for us. It's a spiral, man. It's a spiral. It's all connected. So, I don't know. Let's toss it out here. Let's go back down to, the experience. Maybe some of the symptoms that people may feel. Sorry, Tilt, you're going to go over here, okay, for a hot second. There you go. Is this thing not censored? Oh my gosh. There you go. Oh, is that bad now? Is that worse? Can you see it? Okay, maybe we do that. Let's come back up here. Don't worry, we'll fix it. Okay. So, for you, in the chat, I'm curious, like, what are some somatic symptoms or somatic things that you experience when you feel nervous, anxious, worried? Some people may say increased heart rate. You feel your heart beating a little bit. Boom, 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 boom. Maybe you have beating. Breathing. Is that the word that I'm looking for? Increased breathing? I feel like there's got to be a smarter word for it. And I'm sure Bowen knows it. Like the increase, so that might happen. You might shake. You might sweat. Okay. What are some other symptoms that you might feel? I think these are the most common ones. The most common ones definitely is this increased heart rate where you feel like your heart's beating on your chest, or you are breathing faster at a faster rate. So, yup. Okay, that's too smart. That's too smart. Shortness of breath. Pena? Can't think. Yes, that goes under cognitive. Yes, very good. So, okay, let's go on. So, some people do this. The sweat, sometimes you'll experience this in your body, your head, on your arms, your hands. Dry mouth. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, sweaty palms, sweaty body in general. Yes. Okay, so the cognitive ones, if you are, some people think the stomach, especially with the Asians. Absolutely. Can't see straight. Ooh, vision blurry. Yeah, that's a good one. Absolutely. Okay, that's good. Very good, Bowen. A+. Okay, so cognitive stuff. You got the can't think. I like that. Or overthink. Yep, we got the worries. You got the overthink. We got the... Have you seen this one? I had a very interesting case the other day. Not the other day, but like working with. And I could tell that he was worried all the time or I could tell that he was worried before his matches or his games because he wouldn't sit still. It was the most interesting thing. He would be out of his chair. He'd be talking to player managers, the officials, anyone he could talk to. And like you could just tell that there was this nervous aura about him. But he was trying to either mask it. He was either overcompensating for it by just like talking to people and like having this kind of chaotic energy. And it was really interesting how he yeah, inability to sit still happens all the time with players. It's really interesting. But this wasn't like pacing or anything. This wasn't like nervous pacing, or he didn't look like an animal at the zoo where they were going back and forth, back and forth. Bro, this guy was just like... and just like talking. It was interesting, not crazy. It was interesting. Anxiety to be overreactive motor / cognitive function or shutting down. Absolutely. That's absolutely it. That's absolutely it. 100%, Bowen. 100%. Okay, can't think. Overthink. What ifs come? I think another one that's really interesting too is the evaluations. The evaluations of the situation, the evaluations of the meaning of the game, the meaning of what's going to happen, the thinking about what other people might say to me, thinking about what other people might think of me. I think the evaluations come, the values of what's happening. That's a version of overactive. Do I get a gold star? Bro, you not only get one, you get 3 gold stars and an A+ right now. Aw, cute Uber noob. He says hi to you, Shining. Look at you making friends. Way to go. Way to go. Okay. Cognitive to black and white thinking. Ooh. Bowen, you are crushing. I like that. All or nothing. All or nothing. Black and white, all or nothing. These are very dangerous ways of thinking. You know what's really interesting? Thinking of black and white thinking and stuff like that. What I found to be really interesting in general has been like the people who I've experienced and worked with who have higher order level of cognitive functioning or higher order level of thinking. The common theme that I've seen is that this goes away. Not goes away per se, but there's less of this. And when black and white thinking or all or nothing thinking is basically, it must be this way. It can never be. It must be this way always, or it can never be this way ever. Right? Misperception or inability to ascertain risk. Absolutely, bro. Your words that you use, Bowen, are very nice. I love your words. Ascertain, very good. I should honestly, in these streams, I have a what's your face? I have why isn't this thing like transforming the way I want it? There you go. I have a Excel spreadsheet or sheets, a Google Sheets of all the words that are like really nice and cool from the articles that I read, but I feel like I should just have an Excel sheet of Bowen's awesome words or awesome words from my chat so you can make me smarter. But again, going back to it, like as I work with, you know, not smarter players, but more experienced players, more knowledgeable players, more cerebral players, this goes away more. Because as you kind of get more experience, or you learn more, you see more, you understand that it's never and always. It's never a never. There's always a depends. In this situation, it could be possibly if these things happen. And when I notice people saying it has to be must, that makes me listen more to be like, oh, how come? Like, what makes you think that? Like, where's your data that it's always like this? You know, I'm thinking back to also SATs. Like, that was one of the things where, you know, you're reading the passages and they're like, oh, which one is it that's incorrect? And it's like, oh, the one that always says always or never. But like, those are always incorrect because nothing is always or never. You know what I mean? And so if you're really good at your game, or if you have more experience, or you understand it and can see it in 3 dimensions, you're able to kind of play and see different opportunities or different scenarios, and the black and whiteness goes away. Also, fun, interesting thought to go along with black and white thinking or all or nothing thinking. Think of children's stories. Like, think of every fairy tale, every, like, children's, like, narrative or whatever. Think Disney, maybe even Pixar, maybe like older Pixar, but like classic Disney fairy tales, folk tales. Think about it. There's always a good guy, and the good guy is always good, right? You don't see them do bad things. They're like, you know, typically the white shiny knight, like that archetype. And then think of, like, the bad guy, the evil witch, the bad wizard, or whatever. They're all bad. Jafar, right? I love Disney, like classic Disney. Like, just think of Jafar, think of Scar, think of the Wicked Witch, like, think of all those, like, this evil stepmother. Like, they're all terrible, ugly people inside, right? And so when you think of, like, children's stories and how they flow, they're very simple on how you read them and how you can understand them. It's very clear. This is good and this is bad, you know? And so if you think about it, that's this. Children think, younger people think, in black and white, all or nothing thinking. Another one, if you were brought up in the US, was that cops help you. You know, like, they teach you that cops are helpful, and that if you're in trouble, go call 911, and nothing bad is going to happen. And then you get older and realize that that's not always true. You know, like, we like to think that all cops are good, but sometimes that's not always the case. And I'm sure people have, you know, had both experience of someone really helping as a cop, and on the other hand, not so much. And so if you think about, you know, that in general too, as a child or kids' books or whatever, it's black and white thinking. But as you get older and evolved, you have higher order level of thinking where different situations and scenarios don't always or never work out in a way that you may think. What's interesting is that more evolved, quote unquote, or players that are able to have abstract thought or are more articulate, the players will say, it depends. Amazing. It depends. Yes, that has been my experience too. Or they say, in this situation. And they make it so it's a very specific, in this situation, this thing was good because X, Y, or Z. They don't say always this was good. They say it depends in this situation, in this one thing. Or be more nuanced in one-on-one conversation, absolutely. But in team discussions, especially heated discussions, they tend to be more in black and white. Of course, because I want to be right and you're wrong, and this always works, you dumb dummy. I'm always right. You're always wrong. You're never right. Black and white. Absolutely. So the thing with anxiety too, that makes another metaphor or something that relates to this cognitive or mental, or the can't think, the what ifs, the all or nothing, the overthinking, or even I think the can't think, right? The can't think or the think too much. We can think of both of these things have speed. The can't think is slow, and the overthink is fast. Okay, now we're talking about speed of thoughts and how it may affect you. And when I think about anxiety, typically, in my experience, you either go into flight or fight mode with the F's, right? You freeze, you fight, or you fight, or you flight, right? Like these three, or the other F that we don't talk about. That's not relevant here. Anxiety equals poor memory. Yes, that definitely also works too. So what happens if your brain goes into flight or fight? Now you've engaged the speeds of the rate of which you think. And so if you freeze, this is the can't thinking, this is the slow thoughts, maybe indecision. That's what we're thinking about here. If we're thinking about fighting or flighting, now we're thinking about maybe fast, because you got to run fast, you got to fight fast or whatever. And so now, if it's going too fast, it's hard to think. If you want to think of this as like driving a car, for example, if you're driving 25 in a residential, like you can go pretty slow. And the reason for that is because you want to have a wide view of vision in case balls come out, children are running, other cars are here, whatever. Like the slower you go, the wider your vision can be. Thus you can see more things and you can account for more things. But once you start going faster, right, 40, say you're on a stretch, it's 45, you're going 50, going 60, 65, 70, California 80, 90, maybe even 100. What happens when you start going faster is your field of vision also shrinks. Now, instead of like when you're going 25 or 35, okay, maybe you can look around, you can see more things because you have more time to react also because you're moving slower. But as soon as you start increasing speed, your field of vision must also be more narrow because you must concentrate on what's in front of you, because if you do not, you might crash, you might be unable to swerve out of the way, and the field of vision narrows. The same thing happens to your mind. If you're chill and you're relaxed, whatever, you're driving at we could be driving at like 35, 25, where you have a lot of options, you're running through a lot of scenarios in your head, and, you can pick one and be chill, or if something happens, you can quickly put that into your brain and, plot a course to turn out of the way or swerve out of the way. But once the anxiety comes in, once the worry starts kicking in, you maybe go into the flight or, fighting mode. And now your speed of your thoughts are going faster and faster and faster. Your, how do I say this? The wideness of your thoughts, the creativity, the adaptability, all those things that help you be more flexible in how you apply your strategies, your thoughts, now becomes more narrow and narrow and narrow and narrow. And now you get into this black and white thinking just because you have to, because everything is going so fast. So the best way to slow down here is maybe taking a breath, taking a step back, or thinking, okay, I am doing that worrying thing again. What's another option? What's another option? Or what can I do to slow down my thoughts or slow down my body or whatever? Because if I don't, you're going to crash because you're not really thinking about other things and you're moving way too fast. So think about the speed of the thoughts and how it might affect you too. Okay, maybe that goes down here. All right, I guess with that speed thing and anxiety, and of course, like when we talk anxiety, and I talk in flight or fight, the thing I want you to think immediately or start connecting anxiety, flight or fight, speed, mental stuff. Like, I want you to think amygdalas. That is what I want you to think about. Your poor little amygdalas are taking over your brain. They're flooding your body with, adrenaline or whatever, because it wants to keep Summer safe, right? If you're a Ricky and Morty fan, keep Summer safe. It wants to keep you alive. The amygdalas are consistently and constantly searching your environment for danger, for things that might kill you, for things that might harm you. But here's the thing about your brain. It's very smart, but at the same time, very, very dumb, because it cannot or has a very difficult time discerning, okay, is this something that's going to actually kill me? Like, for real? Game over, unalive, dead? Or is it going to feel like I'm going to die, like it's going to hurt real bad? Because interestingly, pain in your brain is interpreted the same, may it be emotional pain or somatic physical pain. Pain be pain. And so your brain is searching for danger, and funny enough, it may point out, oh my gosh, you playing ranked? That may be dangerous because people are going to say things. Your ego might like get hurt, or all these other things that could happen to you. You might lose resources, your LP, your ranked points, or whatever, and that's scary. So we're going to make sure that you are okay and feeling safe. And now you're freaking out in your chair when there's not an actual, threat. I think it's also really interesting, side note, that human beings are one of the only species or known species that they can be in a completely safe environment. Nothing's going to harm them physically. Everything is chilling. They have enough resources emotionally, cognitively, physically. But they could be sitting down in the room completely safe, but be in full-blown panic mode because of what we're thinking and what we're projecting or what we're, thinking about. That can full-blown us into a panic attack or whatever. But literally, we're safe. It's so odd. But then again, it makes me think of, damn, isn't your brain so powerful? And if you can master it, understand it, the better you'll be in avoiding these types of things or dealing with these things head on. Pretty sweet. All right. So emotional with anxiety, got fear. Got nervousness. Interestingly too, anxiety can make you angry. Like, anxiety is not just that, person in the corner, rocking and freaking out or with the paper bag, breathing. You also got the rager. They're worried about how things are or will be or what it will mean, and anger will come out because they're either frustrated or it's a stronger emotion, and so it comes out easier. So just because someone is angry doesn't mean that they're not worried. Yes, absolutely. Sad, that's definitely another one. Someone might be tearful, someone might be freaking out, panicking, and they might be sad about what would be happening. And, it could absolutely crying. That's all part of it. So just because someone might be worried or nervous about something doesn't mean it's always going to be the absence of emotions. See, the hard part is I want to use positive and negative because I'm thinking about schizophrenia, and schizophrenia, you have positive symptoms, which are you hear the voices, you see the things, you believe the stuff. Those are positive symptoms because you're adding things into the experience, right? Versus negative symptoms of schizophrenia would be anhedonia, you don't care, you're withdrawn, you don't speak as much, right? And these are negative symptoms because they take things away from you. And so when I'm thinking about they're positive things, and I'm thinking about they're adding stuff into it, right? Adding anger, angry, loud, ragey things, and I'm thinking negative as in they shut down, they become smaller, they do all the things that make them withdraw. Anxiety, he goes, I don't know how I feel. Yeah, it could happen. Or the fancy word, oh my god, alexithymia. Did I know that one? That was good. Did I do that good? Alexithymia. That was the other thing, man. All the thymias or the A's, and when going through the psych thing, you really understand the prefixes and suffix of words. And you know what? Honestly, I took Latin in middle school because everyone was oh, take Latin. It's going to help with your SATs and root words and stuff. Bro, didn't help me at all. But now I have a bunch of random word roots oh my god, what's the one that starts with an R that's related to trees and things that branch out? I'll figure it out. But that was one of the words because tree was something. Or even pedestal comes from pedis, which is of the feet. Absolutely, it's all Greek to me, bro. I have to tell you, okay, do you want to know, chat, a very embarrassing and yet funny story about how dumb I am. So, or how uneducated when it comes to geography and places are. So, when I first started in esports, I was working with a team, League of Legends team, a European League of Legends team. I think they're like tier 2. And the dude was from the coach that I was talking to. He was from he was Greek. Okay? He was from Greece, right? And we're chopping it up after, and we're talking about, like, I was helping him with the coaching thing. I was like providing him just like with what I do. And then oh, that's a good question. I'll answer that for sure. And so after the session, I was like, hey, yeah, man. So like, where you from? And he's like, oh, I'm Greek. And I was like, awesome. Like, do you speak Italian? And he's like, no. Why would I speak Italian? And I was like, oh, like, you're from Greece. And he goes, yeah. So I was like, oh, so you speak Italian? And he's like, no, I speak Greek. And then in that moment, I was like, in my head, this was my logic. Because afterwards, I was like, okay, yeah, blah, 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 okay, bye. And like, that was the end of the session. And then I was talking to Memers. I was like, Memers, bro. I was talking to this guy from Greece and he doesn't even speak Italian. And she's like, why would he speak Italian? I was like, yeah, because, Greece is in Italy, Greece. He speaks Italian. And she's like, no, you dumb dummy. He would speak Greek because he's from Greece. And she's like, wait, you think Greece is in Italy, don't you? And I was like, it's not? Because I thought, like, Romans, Greek, Rome, that was in Italy, right? Thus, if he's Greece and he's Greek, Greeks come from Italy because Italy was from Rome, and right? And Rome and Greek, and then she showed me the map. And then I was just mortified that I said that. And I was so like, oh my God. Not only do I think I'm an idiot, but I know for sure that this other coach thinks I'm an idiot because I told him, why didn't he speak Italian when he was from Greece? I'm going to say it's because I didn't go on that study abroad trip in 7th grade because World Trainer Centers went down. Thanks, Osama. And I would have learned more if I actually went to Italy to learn, but I didn't. You know what I mean? But that's my embarrassing story. How contagious is anxiety within a team? How do you prevent the spread of anxiety? Whoo, Bowen, that's a banger question. That is a banger question. You had the option to study abroad trips. You did? Yeah, I did. That was a cool opportunity that, our high school was pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. My high school in Hawaii was pretty dope. Same high school as Obama. That's our claim to fame. Yo. And same high school as me. Just joking. I'm sorry, but I knew Greece was not in Italy. I know, I didn't know. But team anxiety. Let's put that here. That's a good one. Team anxiety. I did go to Punahou, baby. Whoop whoop. Good times. Good times. I love Punahou. I bleed blue and yellow, baby. Okay. Team anxiety. I think it can be. Team anxiety definitely can be because, it can be contagious. Because I think if you see a player freaking out and then you're like, man, they're freaking out. Should I be freaking out? Why are they freaking out? Are they worried? What are they worried about? And I think especially if some other teammate has a proclivity or is more at risk for being anxious or has like their own nervousness or things that could happen, I think it could be a chain reaction if someone's nervous and then I'm nervous already and now I see this other person being nervous and so now I'm nervous. And then I think if everyone's nervous, then we can kind of feel it. But I think there's a difference between team anxiety and team pregame jitters, where team pregame jitters, we all can be feeling this slight nervousness or whatever, but as soon as the game starts, we're all locked in. I think anxiety, if we're going to say it, team anxiety, is the anxiety or the nervousness that persists through the entire series or the entire game. And I think the best way to prevent anxiety or in general would be to help the team refocus on the things that they want to do, Or, yeah, so many people went there. I mean, it's funny because all the people from Puno that typically people that go to Puno go to college on the mainland and then they just stay there. Ta-da! Like that's what happens to most of us, and so that's why I think there's so many out here. Especially like, I mean, the funny joke too is like USC is like Punahou College is a joke in home. You know, like everyone, a lot of people that from Punahou go to USC or Stanford, Harvard, all the places. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Or coaches, managers, sport, or leadership anxiety spreads. Yes, I think too. I think it gets worse. For example, the more power you have. For example, if the GM has anxiety or worry, and then they go into the team, and now they're like, okay, you have to win. Like, there's no big deal, or you're all gonna be fired, or I can't guarantee that you're gonna have a job. Because if the general manager or someone that has power over them is now nervous and now is exuding the nervousness, or because they're trying to manage their own nerves or anxiety, is now like pushing it onto the team. If you have more power and the people who are looking under you up to see you and you're anxious, of course they're gonna be anxious. Or if the coach is freaking out, like you're a player and you're like, bro, I got this, I'm feeling good, but your coach is like, oh man, this is a really strong team, you know, like we've really been fucking up in scrims, I don't know how we're gonna go. And now you're like, oh my god, wait, were we fucking up in scrims? Were we not ready? I felt good and now I don't? What? And so yes, I think also it's not just player to player, but I think also the more power you have, the more power you have to change the vibe in a good way or a bad way. So I think it's important for coaches, managers, GMs to be very aware of how they feel, and then be very aware of how their feelings may be affecting the way they're acting or interacting with other people on the team. But like I'm saying, like the best way it's for anxiety or group anxiety or team anxiety is to refocus, because what's happening if the team is getting anxious is that their focus is getting hijacked by all these other things. And so if, for example, you want to refocus the team, focus them on something that you want them to think about, execute, reframe their mindset, or reframe whatever they may be thinking to help them think of something more productive, more fruitful, something actually tangible, a solution that they can work on versus what's happening in the future. Now, a music vid is in my head, but I can't remember what song it's for. Is it Welcome to My Life? Because it's a pretty good song. Not gonna lie, it's a pretty good song. Yeah. I feel like we could spend like another like session on anxiety or the experience of anxiety. I feel like we just scratched the surface and I only gave you like 2 solutions. Know your signs and do your best to take a breath. Oh my god. Okay. On that note, do you know what the worst thing to do if somebody you like, a player or someone that you know or are with, are experiencing anxiety or they're freaking out about something? Just guess what the number one thing you should not do or say to that person. Can take a guess. Take a guess. Men, if you're in the chat, you know exactly what it is. Women too. You're on the receiving end of this. So I'm just curious if you guys know. And I'm gonna, while you guys type that in chat, the number one thing. Stop being anxious. That's very close. That is very close. Think of that's like almost it. Stop being anxious is so close. Think of a more common phrase. Think of a more common phrase. Oh! Bing, 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 bing. Very good. Rainbow, you got it. And so, Bone, you actually got it too. Calm down. Bro, just chill. Breathe. Take a step back. You're fine. Like, these are like the number one worst things to say. Or relax, chill, relax. Number one things not to say. Because, what, you don't think I'm trying to relax? You don't think I wish I could be calm, bro? Like, fuck, man, I'm trying, bro, I'm trying. Or, you don't think I'm calm? You don't think I'm calm? Okay, I'll show you not calm. And the worst part too, if you use these phrases like calm down, chill out, relax, like the person is freaking out about whatever is in their head or whatever they're thinking about or what they're experiencing. But as soon as you say these phrases, sometimes what happens is now the anxiety, fear, anxiety, or frustration, whatever they feel, now gets directed at you. And now you're the problem. And now they've refocused their attention upon you instead of the more productive thing. Which brings me to point number 3. Refocus on what you want to do. Not what you're afraid of, not what you're worried about, but what you want to do. For example, I'm really afraid of, making mistakes. And so what I want to do, what I'm going to focus on is making sure I play as flawlessly as possible. Or what I'm going to focus on is even if I make those mistakes, I'm going to make it my goal to make sure that I recover. Or just keep moving forward, keep pushing forward, keep shooting, keep playing. That's what I want to do. Or if they say these things to me and they tilt me, I'm going to practice my self-regulation skills or whatever. I'm going to push past the noise. I'm going to do whatever you want to refocus on. But the key to beating the in-game anxiety is controlling and regulating and being intentional in this focus and intention. Focus and attention and be intentional in what you want to do versus what you're afraid of. Don't let the amygdalas win. I remember this one manager where I used to work was like, you love to worry. What would you do if you couldn't find something to worry about? Whoa. It's like, no, bitch, I don't. I would love that. I'm worried about myself in this moment and getting paid, son. That's what I want. That's really interesting, though. But at the same time, the reframe already at the bottom of this anxiety or worry, this is at the heart of anxiety. Or I would say that these two are the reframes here of why at the heart of anxiety, what is it? It's because you care. It's because you care about the result. It's because you care about what people think. It's because you care about what you think. It's because you care about what this means. And because you care, you're worried about it. You're thinking about it. You're concerned about it. Think about something that you didn't care about. Think about school. Think about a person. Hopefully not. But like, if you didn't care about this person, this project, this thing, you wouldn't worry about it. Thus, you wouldn't be anxious about it. So let's just start with you feeling anxious because you care. Or on the other side, you're anxious because you don't want to die and you want to live, which is good. So then the question becomes, how do you want to live? What's going to make your life feel better? What's going to help you live your best life? And what are the things that's going to take for you to do this? Because you care. These small little mental reframes will help you think about not, oh my God, I'm not freaking out. I just really care and I need to use my care in a different way. Or if I want to survive, if I want to live, if I want to keep breathing, what do I need to do to make sure I do that? Because I mean, life or death, sometimes people may associate winning or losing a game with their salary, with, whatever. And so it is kind of life and death. So you can think of it this way. Damn, we went places today. This was fun. Yeah, a lot of mine are, I want to live, but I have clinical anxiety. Choose life. You're doing great. You're living, you're breathing, you're here with us, having a good time. All right, speaking of good times, I had a blasty blast. I lost track of time, honestly. And I think we're going to have like Anxiety Clinic Part 2. I really loved the conversations tonight. Bowen, Rainbow, thank you. Shining, thank you for, coming out. And Uber Noob, welcome to your first chat, man. Hopefully you won't lurk in the corner. Hopefully you can come and talk more. And, the community and the chats are really fun. And we love you here. Yeah. Scheming. Yeah, for maybe. And so I think... the clinic, thank you, Purple, for giving us the title of this segment, The Clinic. I think Anxiety Clinic, maybe next week, or, if we don't have another topic, we can revisit this conversation, because I think, some other anxieties I want to review are like, straight up performance or more performance anxiety stuff, ranked anxiety stuff, what people might say to me kind of stuff, like, the specific things that might cause you anxiety, and then from there we can talk about how we can address them, or maybe if you have something we can use as a case study, or not maybe you, but maybe your friend. I don't know. We can have some different kinds of fun here. But this was a blast, and I think the clinic is really cool. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for chatting with me and taking me on tangents, because that's what it's all about, baby. I follow the balancing ball. Thank you for guiding me. But if you would like next time to come into my Discord and you guys want to chat live with me and play around, you can do that too. Join my Discord and you can come into the could I do a discussion on resilience? Absolutely. That's a great topic. I'm gonna write that down. Hold on. That is I already have my Notion open for this. Hold on. Yes, resilience. Yeah, thank you, Bowen, for reminding me that the clinic is not just for bad things. The clinic is also for great things, like resilience. But maybe that's an office hour topic. We can talk about that in office hours. I like that. Resilience. Absolutely. That's a great one. We always focus on the negative, but maybe thinking about the positive mental health. Absolutely. Instead of, and recovery. Bowen, you are dropping bombs. Recovery. Perfect. Yep, that is in my notes, and let's freaking do that. That's dope. Absolutely. I think that's so important. Thank you for highlighting that, Bowen, that mental health and performance is not just about fixing dysfunctions or fixing problems or challenges or diagnoses or whatever, but it's also to, help you live your best life, about, how to bounce back, how to, push forward, all these things that are amazing in psychology, which I definitely became a psychologist for. So yes, we definitely can cover those topics, and please keep coming, Bowen, and Rainbow and Uber Noob and Shining, and keep giving me these ideas to keep this thing going, baby. This is great. I would like to say that this stream is a viewer-driven stream, I think. I will to cover topics and things that my viewers find the most helpful, and that gives me joy. Speaking of joy, thanks, Rainbow, for reminding me. I've tried to fix some of the commands. If you want to try them out later, look at them. I definitely will need to fix the roles in my Discord, but one thing at a time. And if you want to, learn more about me and what I do, you can definitely visit my website, PsychSensei.com. And while you're there, if you would like to, define your win condition and start working there today, you can fill out that free consultation form, which you can also pick a date and time to see me, and we can start working towards it today if you'd like. So yeah, check me out, and at my website, PsychSensei.com, you can also find the YouTubes, the Twitters, which is at the PsychSensei, the LinkedIn, the Discord, the TikToks, all of it, the Instagram, whatever's. You can find it all there on my website, PsychSensei.com. All right, my friends, that's it for me. I'm hungry, and I think we're having steak tonight, so let's get it. And as always, my name is Dr. Ryan Terao, your Psych Sensei. Thanks for coming, and as always, I want you to remember that stronger mental wins. All right, friends, take it easy. Pieces. Love ya. Mwah. Bye. Absolutely. Let's go eat. Bye.